So I'm sitting here enjoying my coffee and a fine LP by Mr. Frankie Carl, if I remember correctly. And this arrives. This is a Blaupunkt TRT1049 head unit. Obtained this from Amazon for the princely sum of $12. That's correct. You heard it right, folks. $12. Not a misprint. This is pretty much the new generation of head unit where CD players, tape decks, anything mechanical is no longer required in a car stereo. So essentially, really all you have here is a radio, a Bluetooth receiver, and a USB port and a memory card slot, and that's pretty much it. So they're not very big, they're not made of very expensive parts. It's unfortunate that a fine German name like Blaupunkt has decided to outsource to China, but they certainly weren't the first ones in Germany to do so. Grundig coming to mind immediately. Alright, well, not much to them, like I said. There's the instructions, and let's see, it looks like a wiring harness and a remote control. And wedged between two pieces of foam is the head unit itself. So there it is. Like all Blaupunkt receivers, this one's also named after a city. Of course, this one is named after the city of Toronto. Not very thick, as you can see, and not really a whole lot to it. Rear USB. We got RCA's out for a amplifier. Motorola antenna jack. And it was passed by the quality assurance department. So there you go. Give you a quick overview here. Alright, I believe it was Shango066 on YouTube that got one of these, and his didn't work very well, or didn't work at all, I guess, at first, and it turned out one of the wires, I think, was missing from the wiring harness. So I'm just going through here real quick. Looks like everything is there. Standard color coding for car stereos in this day and age. Chinesium little remote control. We want to hear from you. Well, let's wait till after this thing is installed. Guide the utilization. Well, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Instruction manual. Enjoy it. And we have two of these, which I really don't know what they're for. So, okay. I think the first thing we're going to do is take this and mate it to a connector which will wire into my vehicle. So to do that, we will remove box and paperwork and plastic will go away. Fire up the old soldering iron. I could do this at my desk with the good soldering iron, but just doing these little wire connections doesn't require much. And this is a good record. And of course, some shrink wrap and make it all nice and pretty. So, yeah. Let's make this happen. And we're all set. Connections are tinned, and we use shrink wrap on them to seal them up and make them permanent. And this should just plug into our GM wiring harness. This will plug into the back of the head unit, and we will take the head unit out to the vehicle. And before I put it into an installation kit, we're just going to test it out, make sure A, it works, and B, it works well enough where it's worth permanently installing in the vehicle. So without further ado, let's head outside. Well, here's something interesting. I purchased this back on May 20th of 2019, and here it is, June 17th, and Amazon has already pulled it from sale. Can't buy it anymore. The price actually went up to about $18 temporarily, but I guess they have so many of these being returned that they just pulled it right off the market. Still got 3.5 stars. I'm kind of surprised. But yep, I was gonna go buy another one just for the heck of it, and long gone from Amazon. So I'm curious now to see just how long this lasts. Everybody pretty much just said the same thing. The display goes out on them after a very short time. And with a common failure mode like that, it's either got to be from heat or bad solder joints on the board. So we'll spin the wheel and take our chances here. Sorry about my voice. I have a scratchy voice tonight. So anyhow, let's go out and put this in. Okay, so here's what we've got. A old mid-80s factory GM radio. It still works.
Oversaw the separation of children from their family.
Still fires through the two front dash speakers. It's a mono radio. So this is what we're going to be replacing today. If this doesn't work out, I will gladly put this back in because it's actually a good radio. Excellent receiver. So let's get to it. Well, okay, here we go. We got it in. And let's give it a try here. It's AM. Start at the top.
Oh, very young, what will you leave us in time? You're only dancing on this earth for a short while. Oh, very young, what will you leave us in time? Great oldies all the time. Let's live by 90 AM.
Blasio, Mayor of New York City, driver's licenses for all.
Much choice because no one is taking first fall now.
Not going to get a lot because I'm parked right outside the house here, and it's a very noisy spot for AM.
Daryl's right when he says this. They're one of the only teams in the league that know.
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have time to do it. He's just so busy doing nothing that he has no time
Well,
to
that's
do it.
annoying. It reverts back to auto-tuning every time. Interesting. Not getting the crosstalk issue, but then again, I'm not really near any transmitters, obviously. You can tell by the reception. Let's try FM here. Let's see if I can...
Literally, to be with it. To be a of the...
Important. Your dentist can save your life. Every year, dentists save thousands of lives in North America by spotting growths and abnormalities.
Include trade-in assistance bonus cash.
If this is the case, that they're all actually working and they're growing our economy.
Group to sell 200 737s.
With me, you can that's the real deal to know the bad.
And it's not about my pride.
Weeks done, we take a break. All the boats I missed. And play my song. Out of the way, shaking the floor. Trusted you. But I might as
Conservatives and Republicans, they're political opponents because we rock with Q103.
In that in a 9-inning game.
outside of this town. 27th at 7:30 p.m. at Capitol Hills Golf Course in Albany. GA tickets are just $30.
The world is mourning, they don't realize he's alive.
But because
asleep, she snuck out to see it.
And that's what he said of the Kabila regime.
sometimes, but I think that kind of memorabilia wouldn't have necessarily been made at home.
Wow, it's even picking up that. This is not a bad FM tuner.
Another way that you're getting generated.
The zeitgeist, or the spirit of the age. Uplifting. Encouraging. Uplifting and encouraging.
The sound of life.
Better know your
Big help.
Life last.
More than just carpet, you're beautiful floor
browse hundreds of machine and handmade
the passage. We say, oh, well, what God wants from us is, if we're going to be really righteous, we're going...
Alright, let's grab the telephone, see how this sounds on Bluetooth. Okay, well, not one of my more prouder automotive installations. But anyhow, let's see how easy it is to do Bluetooth. I think we have to hit this button here, Bluetooth, and then come down here, turn you on, tap to select a device, which I don't see on the list here. Scan for devices. That's saying connect. TRT1049 sounds about right. Bluetooth on. Wow, how about that? Okay, so let's do this. Advertisement.
All first responders, military, and veterans get $750 appreciation cash, only at your upstate Ford dealers.
Yes, thank you for that.
Exempted from vaccinations, the doctor from Santa Rosa had earlier refused to turn over the records to the state medical board, which was investigating him for improperly using the blanket medical exemptions. The crash site of the missing helicopter has been found on the west side of Catalina Island this morning.
At 9:56, Air 5 located a possible crash site on the west end just past Isthmus Harbor. It was a small debris field. They did confirm that there was a small smoldering fire and one single fatality.
Oh, that was easy enough, huh?
That's LA County Fire Inspector Brian Stevens. He tells KNX it's believed there was only one person on board. The LA County Sheriff's Department says the helicopter took off from Torrance Airport yesterday to fly to Catalina, was supposed to return to Torrance. There's no word yet on how or why the helicopter crashed. Well, he had to do it. He had no choice. An attorney for that off-duty LAPD officer who shot and killed a man inside a Costco store has said he had to use deadly force after being attacked.
Corona police previously said the off-duty officer was subject to an unprovoked attack.
Volume's a little low, but that's pretty typical of his phone, more than anything else. Let's see what happens when I call my own phone.
The officer's lawyer says his client was in Costco with his wife and young son when he was attacked violently.
See if I can do this one-handed here.
The officer ended up pulling a gun and fatally shooting 32-year-old Kenneth French, a mentally disabled man, and wounding his parents. LAPD will be conducting its own investigation. Steve Soperov is the president.
But it will fully be implemented.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy. Now, to be clear, this tax is totally separate from... That's...
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
1, 2, 3, 4. We are testing. Oh, not too bad. I can actually hear myself pretty good through the phone, and I'm hearing myself pretty good through the speakers of the stereo here, so pretty good. So we'll have to edit out the phone number parts here, but all right. Well, that's going to do it for the Blaupunkt Toronto TRT 1049 here on North River TV.
Per gallon tax that we all started paying back in 2017.
Okay, we're a bit further afield. As you can see, we're kind of up here at our sort of our day getaway spot up along the river here in the southern Adirondacks, a little further afield Figured I'd test the radio and see what it can do out here. One thing I'll say for sure is this AM tuner is incredibly narrow band. I mean, we're talking less than 5 kilohertz of bandwidth. Incredibly narrow band. I mean, listen to that. I mean, even the stock radio that I pulled out of here had better response than that. I'm assuming it's picking up lightning. That's probably what that noise is. See, that's New York City. Oh, this auto tuning is...
Enthusiasm. People are so pumped that President Trump's announcing his real.
That's down in New York City as well. It's a little, probably about 3 hours from here.
So additional tariffs on Chinese imports would mean American footwear would cost.
$1,700's down in Rockland County. That's just outside of New York City. So that's not a terrible catch. That's in Trenton, New Jersey, or somewhere in New Jersey.
John Paul said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No
That's
one
New York
comes to the
City.
Father except through me. Acts 4, verse...
Graveyarder about 25 miles from here.
I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make
Semi-local, about 10 miles from here.
My family never stopped pushing for me to be better.
Another semi-local, 1 kilowatt, about 10 miles from here.
And by himself is the
Senator Jessica Ramos is proposing a bill that would clear the records of trafficking victims.
So it's not terrible.
Those records often come
not
from
terrible
actions that
sensitivity at all on AM.
carry that burden.
And I'm not getting any crosstalk. This is a very noisy tuner for some reason.
And as Met Report says, they went nearly 2 months without speaking to each other during the season, and that Harden has not returned Paul's repeated attempts at communication.
Curious how this will sound at night.
Interesting baseball story. The Chicago Sun-Times reports that the White Sox are planning to extend the protective rating at their home ballpark.
Still got to get used to working this thing. Radio band.
Position is you are there as a healer, not someone who hurts or advances bad.
Water rather than bottled water.
En quoi enlever un voile de 9 à 5?
Oh, did you hear that?
Il y aurait certaines difficultés. Est-ce qu'on peut faire après?
Well, the French would be Canada up in Quebec. I don't know what the other station would be. That's interesting. Little Tropo going on.
Of some of these agreements. And flight from Cleveland, Nova Scotia. The planes are grounded worldwide amid an investigation into problematic software blamed for 2 crashes that killed 346 people. This is NPR.
And you're listening to Vermont Public Radio. The following is a required monthly test for the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
The civil authorities have issued a required monthly test for all of Vermont beginning at 5:20 p.m. and ending at 7:20 p.m. This is the Vermont Department of Public Safety, Waterbury. This is a required monthly test of the emergency alert system. The broadcasters in your area, in voluntary cooperation with the Department of Public Safety and other authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an actual emergency. If there's been an actual emergency, the Department of Public Safety would have provided official information or instructions.
Working toward a vision of a world without Alzheimer's, providing care and support to all those facing the disease, with a commitment to advancing critical...
Helping to support the class...
Personalized approach to helping clients grow, preserve, and manage their wealth.
Well, it's not terrible. Tuner's noisy, but it's hot on AM and FM. It's pretty good. Narrowband on AM, very almost unlistenable. It sounds like telephone quality. FM is doable. So there's your Blaupunkt Toronto radio there. And we'll see how long this one lasts. Let's just put it in this morning. We'll see if we can get a week out of it. Anyhow, thanks for tuning our way here on North River TV.